feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.
Brian Giles from Brian Giles MTG. While I am not at the Magic 30th event in Vegas, there are a lot of people there, and they've just had some videos and live streams of stuff that's going on there. Matt Castor Mage, Ed from Dual Brain, along with Brody from Alfonso Investments. We even got to see, in the background, Cassius Marsh. So there's people, there's all sorts of crazy people there. So hoo-ha for them. But you're not here for them. You're here for the Brothers War spoilers. Hoo-ha! Okay, yesterday they had one last spoiler they sneaked in, after I filmed everything, in Teferi Temporal Pilgrim. This Teferi is busted. It's 2 blue and 3 for a 4 loyalty planeswalker that has, whenever you draw a card, put a loyalty counter on Teferi. For 0 loyalty, you draw a card. So you can just sit there and put loyalty counters on him. Now, mind you, this is blue. Card draw is a thing. But look up what his -2 loyalty ability is. And for -2 loyalty, you create a 2/2 blue spirit creature token with vigilance, and whenever you draw a card, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. So this creature syncs with Teferi's ability, so he has a guardian, and it gets bigger every time you draw a card. And we're in blue, drawing a card. A card draw deck is going to be huge. But listen to his ultimate. Now, this is -12 loyalty. Target opponent chooses a permanent they control, then returns it to its owner's hand. Then they shuffle each non-land permanent they control into its owner's library. They choose a permanent that they want to keep, and the rest of it gets shuffled back in their library. That's like a board wipe and a half. I mean, if you're playing a draw counter deck, boy, you just messed up your enemy. You just messed up your opponent. Next up, and actually this will kind of play into Izzet is back in a new reprint of Monastery Swiftspear. For 1 red mana, it's a 1/2 human monk with haste and prowess. And for those of you that don't know what prowess is, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, it gets +1/+1 till end of turn. Ouch. I see an Izzet theme coming. Next up, and I think this is a reprint, but I'm not sure. It's a land called Blast Zone. Blast Zone enters the battlefield with a charge counter on it. Tap it to add a colorless mana, or pay 2 X's to put X charge counters on Blast Zone. And for 3 colors, tap it, sacrifice Blast Zone, destroy each non-land permanent with mana value equal to the number of charge counters on Blast Zone. So it already comes in. You can pay the 3 and board wipe all the weenies as a land that this land is going to be the next automatic include like Field of Ruin. Because Field of Ruin, if you're playing any deck, Field of Ruin you should have at least 2 Fields of Ruins in those decks. Just to mess up with your opponent's mana base. Next up, we have something a card that we were hoping would be in here. And listen to this one. This is Feldon Ronom Excavator. Feldon of Feldon's Cane. So Feldon Ronom Excavator is 1 red and 1 for a 2/2 legendary human artificer with haste. Feldon Ronom Excavator can't block. Whenever Feldon is dealt damage, exile that many cards from the top of your library. Choose one of them. Until the end of turn, you may play that card. Now imagine something that gives him indestructible and you're swinging in with him. Hoo-ha! Take a lot of damage, choose a card. He's Feldon's Cane on a stick. Next up, and this is from way back and just super powerful reprint. It's a mythic, but this is Mind's Eye. For 5 mana, you get an artifact. Whenever opponent draws a card, you may pay 1 colorless. If you do, draw a card. I think this was kind of spoiled somewhere. Maybe in the Morrow spoilers, this effect seems kind of. I think this was in the Morrow spoilers. Yes. But if you're playing with with Sheoldred, they're losing 2 life, you're gaining 2 life for 1 colorless mana. That's not a trade-off. That's straight up evil. Okay, next up is another very powerful mana rock in Chromatic Lantern. A lot of people would like to see this. 3 colorless mana, lands you control, add 1 mana of any color, and tap it to add 1 mana of any color. Chromatic Lantern, absolute fun. Now, these last 2 cards are in the Artifact Archive. Next up is a super powerful, hyped mythic. I cannot believe this card. Okay, we have In the Trenches. 2 white and a colorless for an enchantment that reads, creatures you control get +1/+1. Not bad. But it also has, for 1 white and 5 colors, exile target non-land permanent you don't control until In the Trenches leaves the battlefield. Activate only as a sorcery and only once. So you got an exile effect on a stick that gives that for the 3 mana that you pay for your creatures to get plus all your creatures to get +1/+1. Some boost for your creatures, but then the added more late game thing of being able to always having that threat of being able to exile something is absolutely dope. So next up, oh my, Wondrous Crucible. A beefy 7 colorless. But get this, it's an artifact, and this is from the Commander deck. An artifact that says permanents you control have Ward 2. At the beginning of your end step, mill 2 cards and exile a non-land card at random from your graveyard. Copy it. You may cast the copy without paying its mana cost. Yikes. That is just dope. And since it's in a colorless mana, you can easily ramp that up. And because the picture is, I cannot tell if it's a common or it looks like an uncommon. Next up, we have Thopter Shop. 3 colorless mana. Whenever 1 or more artifact creatures you control die, draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn. We've seen that ability on another card very recently. 1 white and 2 colorless. Tap it. Create a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token with flying. So it's a token generator. But it has some card draw on it. So dope. And next up, this thing is crazy. This is Scavenge Brawler. So 6 colorless mana for a 4/4 with flying, vigilance, trample, and lifelink. My God. It's an artifact creature construct for those of you that I didn't mention that before. But it also has pay 5 mana, exile Scavenge Brawler from your graveyard, choose target creatures, put 4 +1/+1 counters, a flying counter, a vigilance counter, a trample counter, and a lifelink counter on that creature. So this thing dies, and basically you can put basically that creature on another creature from the graveyard. That is insanity! And it's from the Commander deck, and I'm not sure. It looks like it might be a rare. It's gotta be a rare. That is just insane insanity. These cards are absolutely out of pocket. Brothers War hype for sure. Let me do one last check. Oh my God. There's more. Okay. So next up we have Smelting Vat. 4 colorless mana for an artifact. And this is from the Commander deck. So it's 1 colorless mana. Tap it, sacrifice another artifact. Reveal the top 8 cards of your library. Put up to 2 non-creature artifact cards with total mana value less than or equal to the sacrificed artifact mana value from among them onto the battlefield and the rest at the bottom of your library in a random order. I talked about a card, with Mishra running with Oni Sack. This card's another including that. Of course, this is in the commander deck. Next up is Machine God's Effigy. 4 colorless mana. You may have Machine God's Effigy enter the battlefield as a copy of any creature on the battlefield, except it's an artifact that has tap to add 1 blue mana. And this artifact also has tap to add 1 blue mana. Wow. That's cool. Next up, we have another Artifact Archive reprint in Ramos Dragon Engine. 6 colorless mana for a 4/4 flying legendary artifact creature dragon. Whenever you cast a spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Ramos Dragon Engine for each of that spell's colors. Remove 5 +1/+1 counters from Ramos. Add 2 white, 2 blue, 2 black, 2 red, and 2 green. Activate only once each turn. Another include into something like a Joda deck. Okay, and next up is, and this is again another card from the commander decks, is Blast Furnace Hellkite. 2 red and 7 for a 5/5 dragon with artifact offering. You may cast the spell as though it had flash by sacrificing an artifact and paying the difference in mana cost between this and the sacrifice artifact mana cost includes color. So you can offer your artifacts to this thing to help pay that beefy 9 casting cost. This dragon also has flying and double strike, and creatures attacking your opponents also have double strike. Dude! If you're playing in an artifact-heavy deck with dragons, this card is dope. So, that's all for now. Let me do one last double check. Oh, we got another one. I'm probably going to put out another video because today this whole weekend they're supposed to be putting out a lot of the commander cards. So another commander card in Glint Raker. 1 blue and 3 for a 1/3 Drake. Glint Raker with flying. Glint Raker gets +X/+0, where X is the highest mana value among artifacts you control. Whenever Glint Raker deals combat damage to a player, you may reveal that many cards from the top of your library. Put an artifact card revealed this way into your hands, or the rest into your graveyard. Definitely, we're gonna see a lot of artifacts in this set. We already knew this, but holy shnikes. It's almost 20 minutes. I'm going to end the video here. We're going to upload it, and we'll see you on the next video.